This video explores the tumultuous period in Chinese history from 1911 to 1937, marked by the collapse of the imperial system and the forging of a century of revolution. We call this era the Dragon Shattered. In 1911, the Revolutionary Alliance, led by Sun Yat-sen, overthrew the Qing Dynasty, which had ruled China since 1644. Sun became the first president of the new Republic of China in 1912, aiming to build a modern nation free from foreign control. Sun Yat-sen's vision for a modern nation was based on the three principles. These were nationalism, seeking to unify the Chinese people, people's rights, establishing a democratic government, and people's livelihood, ensuring economic security for all citizens. The new republic quickly fractured. Lacking military power, Sun turned the presidency over to General Yuan Shikai, who betrayed democratic ideals. After Yuan's death in 1916, civil war erupted, leaving real authority to powerful provincial warlords who ruled their territories by force. Outrage swept China following the 1919 Treaty of Versailles, which awarded German territories in China to Japan. Massive student demonstrations in Beijing exploded into the May 4th movement, leading many to reject Western democracy and look towards Soviet communism as an alternative. The Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, was organized in 1921. Among its founders was Mao Zedong. Mao developed a unique brand of communism, believing China's revolution would be delivered by its vast rural peasantry, not its cities. Mao Zedong described the force of the peasantry as unstoppable, claiming they would, quote, bury beneath them all forces of imperialism, militarism, corrupt officialdom, village bosses, and evil gentry. After Sun Yat-sen's death in 1925, Jiang Jieshi took control of the Nationalist Party, KMT. Though initially allied with the CCP against the warlords, Jiang feared communism. In April 1927, nationalist forces massacred communist leaders in Shanghai, igniting a civil war. By 1928, Jiang became president of the Nationalist Republic, recognized by the US and Great Britain, though his government grew corrupt. Meanwhile, Mao and his followers established themselves in the hills, recruiting peasants and training the Red Army in guerrilla warfare. In 1934, facing annihilation by Jiang's army, about 100,000 communists fled their stronghold. This 6,000-mile fight for survival, known as the Long March, crossed 18 mountain ranges and 24 rivers, with only a small fraction surviving. The survivors of the Long March settled in northwestern China. Though a retreat, the ordeal solidified Mao Zedong's leadership and forged a loyal core of followers who would go on to win the revolution. As the Civil War raged, Japan exploited China's weakness. In 1931, Japanese forces invaded and conquered Manchuria, an industrialized province in northeastern China, taking advantage of China's internal power struggles. In 1937, Japan launched an all-out invasion. The overwhelming Japanese threat forced an uneasy truce between Jiang's nationalists and Mao's communists. They temporarily united in a second united front to fight the common enemy. The Second United Front suspended the Chinese Civil War but did not end the rivalry. The deep-seated conflict between Jiang Jieshi and Mao Zedong remained, and the final battle for control was merely postponed. Historically, the Xinhai Revolution ended over 2,000 years of imperial rule, introducing republican ideals of nationalism, democracy, and people's livelihood. Today, modern China's focus on national unity and sovereignty traces back to this break from imperial authority. Let us consider some questions. First, how did the fall of the Qing Dynasty in 1911 reshape Chinese ideas about government and legitimacy? After the Qing collapse, China fractured into warlord-controlled regions, undermining the republic and fueling calls for strong centralized leadership. This chaos influences the Chinese government's contemporary emphasis on strong central control and political stability. Next, Why did political fragmentation and warlordism between 1916 and 1928 make revolution an ongoing process rather than a single event? The rivalry between the nationalists and the communists, from cooperation to violent conflict, defined China's political trajectory. This struggle explains the continued divide between mainland China and Taiwan, and ongoing tensions over political legitimacy. Third, how did the rivalry between the nationalists and the Chinese Communist Party shape modern Chinese politics? Both nationalists and communists sought popular support through mass mobilization of peasants and workers. This process, largely absent in imperial China, influences modern Chinese political culture, which emphasizes collective identity and nationalism. Fourth, in what ways did mass mobilization and revolutionary ideology change the role of ordinary people in Chinese society? The Japanese invasion intensified nationalist sentiment and temporarily united rival Chinese factions against a foreign threat. This period of resistance deeply influences contemporary Chinese nationalism and sensitivity toward foreign intervention and policy. Finally, how did the Japanese invasion in the 1930s reinforce revolutionary nationalism and shape China's modern foreign policy?